The Purple Line is a tremendous importance to Montgomery County. It will increase our transit options, support community revitalization and transit-oriented development, connect people to jobs, and connect our major economic centers. I believe that is why the Governor Hogan made the decision to move forward with this important project. We are very excited about that decision. I want to sincerely thank the Governor for his decision to build this vital transit project. We are confident that it will create a better future for all of us here in our county. As part of the Governor's decision to go ahead with this project, he asked his staff to find ways to reduce its cost. And the staff was successful in coming up with ways to do so, and I believe it does not significantly affect the quality of service that the Purple Line will provide. Our goal here this evening is to help you learn more about the Purple Line, cost-saving measures directly from the Maryland Transit Administration expert staff who are involved with the project. We greatly appreciate their willingness to be here tonight to meet with all of you and engage in a one-on-one dialogue on these proposed changes. Next, Mike Madden from Maryland Transit Administration will take a few minutes to outline the cost-saving measures made to the Purple Line project. Please hold your questions until the open house portion of the evening following Mr. Madden's presentation. At that time, we encourage you to visit various tables around the room where technical staff will be available to talk to you. The topics at each table are as follows. Table 1, project overview, project benefits, and timeline and schedule. Table 2, stations, tracks, and aesthetics. Table 3, bridges and elevated structures. Table 4, changes to service level, maintenance and storage facilities, and construction hours and traffic management. Table 5, community and small business outreach and community advisory teams and other issues that you want to discuss. This information will be posted following Mr. Madden's presentation. Also at each table will be feedback cards. I strongly encourage you to summarize your questions and thoughts as you can, so we can have a record of them. This is especially important because following tonight's meeting, I plan to brief the county executive, Mr. Leggett, on the issues you, the community, have raised this evening. We will post summary of the meeting on our Montgomery County DOT website. And thank you for being here tonight again. And I now would like to introduce Mike Madden, Director of Purple Line Project. Mike. Thank you. Thank you.
As Al said, I'm Mike Madden with the State of Maryland's MTA office. I'm hoping we can get some more chairs in here possibly. You know, when the major portion of this project is actually open house, so you'll be mostly standing. So if we can accommodate a few more people, that would be great. First of all, can everyone hear me clearly? Great, terrific. Louder? Okay, let's see how that is. So I want to thank Al and the county's Department of Transportation and other county staff first of all, for bringing this meeting together, giving us the opportunity to talk some more about the Purple Line. And we're going to go ahead. The major topic of tonight's meeting is, as Al mentioned, the focus is on the cost-saving measures. And there's a reason why we are calling them cost-saving measures rather than scope changes, and we will explain that. The other thing is we want to make sure that you all understand where the project is, what is the current status. You know, every other day there's something in the paper, but we want to make sure you understand where the project is and how the project will be moving forward. So just a little bit of background information. Back in the summer of 2013, the MTA completed at that time what's called the final environmental impact statement. That's part of the environmental process. Back in 2008, we had carried out a draft environmental impact statement that was on a variety of all options, and then on the FEIS, the final, that was on the preferred alignment. So then, at that time, we also began to initiate what's called a P3, or public-private partnership. And I will tell you that MTA and Maryland DOT spent almost a year evaluating how we would implement the project, and the decision was made to carry this out through a public-private partnership. So it was not, you know, an easy decision, but consensus was clearly reached by the state of Maryland that this would be the best way to implement the Purple Line in your community. The other thing is, in March of 2014, the Federal Transit Administration, FTA, issued what is called a record of decision. That says that if the project is built, this is the project. This is the alignment. These are the stations. These are the environmental impacts. These are the benefits of the project. All that's left then is to receive federal funding for the project for it to go forward. And then at that point, we were actually able to start to purchase property that is needed for the project. And then right now, back in July, we issued what was called the RFP, the request for proposals. That right now, we have 4 teams. These are big companies, big firms. We refer to them as the concessionaire because they will be carrying out the rest of the design. They will be carrying out construction, and they will be operating the system. They will be maintaining it. So the contract is approximately a 35-year contract to be implemented. But let me make it very clear, although we are having it implemented by a private partnership, MTA, the state of Maryland, is not handing it over and walking away. MTA will still own the project. We will be the face of the project. If you have a concern, you will reach out to us during final design and construction. We will be bringing the concessionaire to the table. Obviously, we'll be able to work with the concessionaire, know who the right people are to address questions and any issues that are out there. So I just want to take a minute to talk about the public-private partnership. And I think the first thing I need to tell you is that right now we are in the midst of a very active solicitation process. It's a competitive solicitation process for one of these 4 teams. They will be submitting their bids, their proposals, November 17th. There will be an evaluation phase. Then we will select the preferred alternative, the preferred concessionaire. in January or February. But when we issued the original RFP in July, since that time, we have issued updates to the request for proposals. And the cost savings measures that we're talking about tonight are now part of that request for proposals. So their bids will incorporate those cost-saving measures. The other thing is, since we are in the midst of a solicitation process, we are constrained by what we can say. Basically, we're not permitted to provide information beyond what we have already provided to the 4 teams. We cannot jeopardize the procurement process. We cannot give one team an advantage over the other. So what you'll hear tonight is what has been provided in terms of information, materials, and all already to the 4 teams. Also, I want to make it clear that we're talking about cost-saving measures. They do not equate to a change in the project itself, really, in the scope of the project as it was defined in the final environmental impact statement. The impacts, the environmental impacts, the benefits of the project all remain the same. So when we talk about cost-saving measures, I want to make it clear that this was not a willy-nilly thing where we just picked things out of the air. It was a very deliberate process to come up with what kind of cost measures can we and should we implement and what kind we shouldn't do. So back in early 2015, soon after the new governor came into the office, he charged Maryland DOT and MTA with a couple things. One was to conduct a very detailed entire evaluation of the entire Purple Line project. We needed to go back and demonstrate to him what are the benefits associated with the project. And we also needed to come up with, develop, outline ideas to save costs, to save taxpayers money. That was the charge that was given to us. So we started that process, and obviously we came up with a lot of potential measures. There was probably over 100 of those ideas. And then we continued that process. But all along, our goal was to make sure that the project was not only a little bit more cost-effective, but that the light rail, the Purple Line, would still provide the service, the quality of the service that it was intended to do, and that we would also honor the final environmental impact statement commitments that were made. So, as I mentioned, some of the MTA and MDOT staff came up with ideas. We also went to the 4 teams to seek their input on ideas, innovations, innovative ways they could think of to save costs. Some of those had to do with more physical things. Some of those had to do with actual terms of the contract in terms of financial terms and things like that. And then we reviewed those with the teams. We reviewed those with the counties. Obviously, we took input from the counties also on the ideas, the different measures we were considering. In order to pass the test in terms of would we implement this cost-saving measure or not, we had to make sure that each of those met certain criteria. And as you can see, the criteria are here. We had to satisfy these measures, whatever they are, had to satisfy the environmental commitments, as I mentioned before. they have to meet or exceed all the safety standards that were already in place when we build the project and to operate it. Also, we did not want the cost-saving measures to delay the project, for any reason, cause further delay of the project, and also to preserve the long-term quality of the project in terms of the type of service we would be providing to the community and to the region. Before I get into them in a little bit detail, and most of the detail will be at the boards, the contract that we've are working on with the concessionaires is basically performance-based. So we have gobs and gobs. If you ever go on the website, I think it's well over 14,000 pages or something like that. Gobs of technical provisions, again, that are performance-based. And these things, again, are ensuring that the quality of the project, the performance when the concessionaire completes construction, when they start to operate it, those things meet our expectation in terms of the MTA and the state of Maryland. And I will give you an example. A lot of times specifications in a contract are very detailed. Any engineer can tell you that. Whereas ours are similar to what we've included here as an example. So there's requirement for the concessionaire that says all the snow must be removed at the stations and the facilities before it accumulates 1 inch, or within 4 hours of the end of the snow event for accumulation less than 1 inch. So there's different ways that the concessionaire can achieve this performance. They could embed heaters along the trackway. They could do more at a station. They could do a more robust station. In other words, covering more of it. They could hire somebody to come out and start shoveling. We don't really care how they do it. We just care that they do it correctly and the way they're supposed to be. If they don't, the availability payments we will be paying them, there'll be deductions to that. So again, that's just a very simple example of how MTA is assuring that we receive a quality project and that you all receive the service that you expect. So these are kind of some of the categories. I think the first thing, and most people have probably heard this, all along we have talked about during the peak periods, our Purple Line trains would be operating every 6 minutes. A cost-saving measure is that now, to start with, they will be running every 7.5 minutes. So that's still good frequent service, not quite as good as 6 minutes, but that allows us to do several things in terms of saving cost. It may allow us to not have to purchase as many rail cars to start off with, because the headways and all basically dictate how many cars you need to buy. It also may allow the concessionaire, we will still have 2 yards, but in one of the yards or both of them, the concessionaire may say, well, at this point, we don't have that many cars that I need to build maybe one other storage track, or maybe I don't need to put quite as much equipment in this maintenance facility as I would if it was 6-minute headways. We don't know what he's going to do. He has to meet all the performance. He has to make sure he can meet the ridership when it comes. So, you know, he has to also, the concessionaire, I'm saying he, it could be a she, who knows. It will be a group of companies. Anyway, they will also have to design their system to accommodate what ultimately the system could operate at. So if he says, I'm going to wait and build 2 of the storage tracks till later, he has to be able to add that without disrupting the service. He has to be able to have the property to do that. The same as the building. If he doesn't build the whole building at once, he has to be able to add that easily when we need it in the future. In terms of construction management, what we're talking about there is working with the counties and the State Highway Administration. Are there areas where we can allow the contractor to work a little bit longer or a little bit later in the evening, whatever it is? Or maybe we could help by closing a bridge or something for several months rather than continue construction for a lot longer period. Again, those are things that the concessionaire is not going to decide by himself. MTA and the counties or whoever the agency is will have to agree to that. We'll have to reach that agreement, as well as the community. Art and architecture, the art program was going to be 1% of the construction cost of the project. We had to cut that in half. So there's still an art program. It obviously will be evenly distributed along the 16 miles, but we have to reduce what we can do. Architecture, you'll hear talk about the standard type of finishes. There are certain walls, retaining walls, where we had been very specific to the teams, to the contractors. We want you to build a wall that looks similar to this. We want you to add this to the wall, whatever. Now we're relaxing those requirements. We're saying it can be standard finish. Doesn't mean they will definitely do that. It all depends on what they come up with. Again, part of this is really geared towards encouraging more innovation on the part of these contractors because, you know, they've built projects like this. We haven't. So in a lot of cases, they know more than we know. Utility relocations, we've worked with the 4 major utility companies, and we've basically reached agreement such that we won't have to do quite as many utility relocations as we initially envisioned. So we were able to save some cost in that area. Doesn't mean we're cutting off service or anything else. It just means we may not, in some areas we won't have to relocate something just because it's near us. It depends on where it is and what type of utility and everything like that. So, moving forward, Governor announced in June, on June 25th, that the project will be moving forward. So there were conditions in terms of additional funding required from the counties. We're glad to say that's been agreed to. That's been worked out with both counties. So at this point, the project is being built, is going forward. We have, as I mentioned, we have given updated provisions, updated information added to the request for proposals. They are now part of the RFP that the 4 teams will be bidding on. For a while there, when we had to do this study, when we didn't know for sure if the project was moving forward or how it was moving forward, we were not able to complete settlements and make offers for property obviously we've been able to resume that process. FTA has already recommended a total of full funding grant agreement, $900 million for the project. They've also recommended $100 million in the fiscal year 15 budget for the project. But we still have to work out a full funding grant agreement, which we expect to do in the spring, next spring. As I mentioned, the proposals, their bids are due November 17th. We will be doing the evaluation process over the holidays, among other times. That preferred concessionaire will be selected in February or January. And right now, we expect to start construction by the end of 2016. And we anticipate Purple Line to be up and running by 2021. Before I close, I also want to mention that we have our Purple Line community outreach team here. And you can see by the map, we have Leslie and Liliana. They cover the portions in Montgomery County. So I suggest you get to know them. They can be your point of contact. They can help you weave your way around who to talk to, who's the person to speak to if you have a concern, if you have a question. And Kay Underwood is mostly at the end, the Prince George's County end of the project. But our community liaisons are here, Liliana, Leslie, and Joy. Joy is the manager of the community outreach program. So we do want you to get to know them. So that's where we are. At this point, we're going to turn it over to the open house. I want to congratulate you all for having such a large group here. It's great to see that many people here in Silver Spring, which is terrific. And we very much appreciate you taking time out to be here. And please feel free to not just eat the cookies, but please feel free to visit the boards and ask questions. Okay? Anything else, Al?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.